Terraria's expert mode items are a bit of a mixed bag, offering the player all manner of unique enhancements throughout progression. And while some of these are incredibly useful, such as the Shield of Cthulhu, Worm Scarf and Shrimpy Truffle, for some reason, we're also left with a handful that are just utter trash, and since their introduction, I still can't fathom a use for. Today, we're going to be looking at debatably the worst expert item in the whole game, that despite dropping from a mid-game boss, I think serves no use whatsoever. Of course, I'm talking about the Volatile Gelatin. For all I know, maybe there's a group of you out there who love this thing. Maybe. So what we're going to do is delve into exactly how it functions and see if it's really all that bad. Before we jump into it, however, if you enjoy these reviews, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. Alright then, let's first take a look at how you get this thing. The Volatile Gelatin is actually quite a new expert drop in the grand scheme of Terraria, releasing in 1.4 as Queen Slime's expert item. This means that you'll want to first head to your underground hallowed and be on the lookout for naturally spawning gelatin crystals. Finding these shouldn't be too bad, as they have a 2% chance to generate in place of regular crystal shards, which are abundant in this biome. Alright, once you've got a crystal or two in hand, we simply just need to spawn the boss, which can be done in your hallow at any time of day. Conveniently, the Queen Slime doesn't get enraged when leaving the hallow, meaning once summoned, it can be fought anywhere. Now, for the actual fight itself, there are a bunch of weapons I'd recommend. For you rangers, I'd simply say that the Uzi or Mega Shark will do the trick, as the boss is an easy target to hit and will go down surprisingly quick to continuous bullet fire. For you mages, the Meteor Staff is a great choice, as once again, the boss's large hitbox means it's easy to hit and a large amount of meteors can impact all at once. For melee, something like the Shadow Flame Knife or Bananarang will do you just fine. And finally, for summoner, a Sanguine Staff and Firecracker Whip is a nasty combo. Once she's down, all you'll need is to open that treasure bag, and voila, your Volatile Gelatin. Okay, now we've got one, let's see why it's so bad. I think it goes without saying that the Volatile Gelatin is underwhelming at best, which when equipped will very simply just periodically fire small bouncing purple projectiles at nearby enemies, dealing a constant 65 damage and 7 knockback regardless of external buffs. Oh, I should also mention that the balls can pierce up to 3 enemies. Wow! The thing is, what I find most insulting about this accessory is the fact it's basically just a budget version of the Queen Slime's actual attack. Like, why couldn't we just get this one instead? Anyway, I think that's enough of me roasting this thing, so let's see what actual uses it can have. Well, for starters, if you're someone who enjoys a bit of fishing and hates being interrupted, it's not half bad at keeping away light enemies. Of course though, if something even remotely significant comes along, it's just going to completely ignore your puny little slime balls. So yeah, kind of mixed on this to be honest. So what about keeping away enemies in your dungeon, which is a strength actually suggested on the wiki? Well, I think maybe it had the pre-planned Terra dungeon in mind, as this is pretty unremarkable. Not much use there, unfortunately. So yeah, things aren't looking great. However, I did find a kind of fun use for it when synergizing with a bunch of other accessories. You see, there are actually a bunch of similar offensive accessories in Terraria that can all be stacked on top of each other. You have things like the Bone Glove from Skeletron, Bone Helm from Deaclopt, Spore Sac from Plantera, you know, the list goes on. And while it may not be very practical, with everything combined, it made for a surprisingly effective build for dealing passive damage to a load of enemies. The only problem is, with no accessory slots left, we can't exactly survive long enough for it to be worthwhile. I'd love to hear your suggestions down below for what could be changed to make this item more viable. Surely we can get a buff in the next update, as it's always a shame to see an expert drop go to waste. This has been sockrteez, and I'll see you in the next one.